Hello world, welcome back to my channel. I am Sahil and we are developing a complete secure authentication and post management system using Node.js, MongoDB express.js and EJS templating engine. And in previous video you have already seen how I worked on user registration and login page to make them dynamic. Now today in this video I'm going to show you how to work on profile page, how to protect the routes, how to log out, and how to make nav items active dynamically. Okay, so let's start. So this is my project inside VS Code, and here I already started npm run dev command. Okay, now let me show you. If I go to login page and if I log in, then you can see we are redirecting to the profile page, but here I'm not displaying any user information. Okay, so for this we have to first design the profile page. So let's come here and open this profile.ejs file, and here I will remove this h1 tag, and first I will create a container div, and inside this container I will create a row with margin top 5, and I will also design a call lg5, and I will give mx auto to make it horizontally center, and inside this I will create a card with shadow, and inside this card I will create a card header, and I will use h2, and here I will write user profile, and I will use some bootstrap class to this heading, like font weight bold and text secondary. Okay, now just below this card header I will write card body class and also padding 4. Okay, now inside this I will use table tag, so just use table tag with class table and table strict. Okay, now just inside this table I will create some rows like name, email. Okay, so let me accept this, and I will display the name, email. I will not display the role, so I will remove this tr, and I will display the created at, and one more I will display the logout button. So here I will write th logout, and inside this td I will design a form, and I will use method post, and inside this action I will write logout. Now just inside this form I will use input, type will be submit, value will be logout, and I will also use some bootstrap class like button danger. Now if I save this and go to the browser and reload, then we are getting error that user is not defined. Okay, so here you can see we are trying to access user.name, user.email and user.createdApp, and these variables are not defined. That's why we are getting user not defined error. Okay, so if you go to this routes directory and then open this auth routes.js file, then in login method, when the user is authenticated successfully, then we are storing the session user information in the session data in this user variable. Okay, you can see we are storing the current user, it means authenticated current logged in user, into this user variable in the session. Okay, but we cannot directly access in the views. So how we can access this session data in the views? So for that we have to define a middleware. So let's open this server.js file, and here what I will do is like similarly like this, you can see I have used this to store the messages, flash messages in the local variable message for the views. Similarly we have to do for the session data, or we can say authenticated user data. Okay, so for this for that we have to define a middleware. So let's write a comment, store authenticated users session data for views, and here I will write app.use function, and then request response, and then next. Now inside this function what I will do is I will use raise.locals.user. Now here you can see I am defining a variable, declaring a variable in the locals with the name user. Now I will use request.session.user. Now I am requesting the session data which is stored in this user variable, because in the login method I have stored the user details into this variable, user variable, in the session. That's why here we can access the session user variable data using this request.session.user. If the user variable or user data is available in the session, then we will assign it in the local user variable, or if there is no session data, then we can simply assign null. Okay, and then we will call the next. Now we can access this user into our views. Okay, now if I go to the browser and let's reload and try to log in again. Now it is okay. So now you can see the name is now showing dynamic, email and created at is now dynamically fetching from the session and displaying here. Okay, but there is one issue. If I reload here and reload the page here, then you can see the session, when we reload the server here, then the session destroys. Okay, and that's why we are not getting the session data, and we are getting this type of error, cannot read properties of null reading name. Okay, so we will fix this in a moment. Okay, so for that we will define some middlewares to protect the routes. Okay, so if there is no session available in the session storage, then we will redirect to the login page, or if there is any user in the session available, then we will redirect to the profile page. Okay, so let's see how we can achieve this. So for this we have to create a new directory in the root with the name middlewares, and inside this middlewares directory I will create a one file auth_middleware.js file. Now inside this I will define two middlewares. Okay, so first will be to protect routes. So here I will write protect routes middleware function. Okay, and here I will write export const protected route, and you can name it anything, but I will keep protected route, and in here I will pass request response next, and then inside this function I will use if condition, and here I will check a condition if request.session.user. If there is no user variable in the session data, then in this case we will return res.redirect to the login page. Simple. Okay, and here if there is any session user available in the session storage, then we will go to the next request. Okay, similarly I will define one more middleware for the guest route. So here I will write guest routes middleware function, and here I will write export const guest route, and here I will use request response next similarly. Okay, and here I will check a condition if there is any authenticated users available in the session. So here I will write request.session.user. So if there is any user available in the session, then in this case we will use return res.redirect to the profile page. Just write profile, and in case there is no session, there is no authenticated users available in the session, then we will go to the next request. Okay, now both the middlewares are now defined in this file. Now we have to use inside auth_route.js file. Okay, so if you scroll above, then this login, registration, forgot password, reset password are guest route. Okay, so here we have to use guest route function. Okay, and make sure to import guest route from this file, auth middleware.js file, like this way. Okay, and here also I will use guest route, so just write guest route. Here also just write guest route, and here also just use guest route. Now this profile is a protected route, so here I will use protected route, and make sure to import this protected route function from the auth middleware.js file. Now this register is a guest route, so here I can use guest route, and this login is also a guest route, so just use guest route middleware. Okay, now if I save this and go to the browser, now if I try to access a profile page, then let's see what happens. So here you can see, if I try to access profile page from the URL, then we are redirecting to the login page, because we are not authenticated. That's why we are redirecting to the login page. We can access register, login, forgot password page, everything, but we can't access profile page. Let me try again. So we are redirecting to the login page, but let me log in. Then you can see after authentication we can access this profile page. Now we are authenticated. Now if I try to go back to login page, then let's see what happens. So we are again redirecting to the user profile page. If I try to go to login page, then you can see we are redirecting to the profile page, because we are already authenticated, so no need to access login page or also register page. Let me access register page, then we can see we are redirecting to the user profile page. Now in order to access login and registration page and all forgot password and reset password page, we have to first log out. Okay, so if I click logout, then nothing is happening, because this let me show you. So if I go to profile.ejs file, then here I have used a form tag, and in action I have passed logout and method is post, and this route is not handled, so we have to handle this route for the logout. So just go to auth routes.js file, and here I will handle logout functionality. So here I will write handle logout user logout, and here I will use router.post method, because from profile I am sending post request. So here just write logout and then request response, and here first I will remove all the session data. Okay, so here I will use request.session.destroy method. Now this method will remove all the session data which was stored previously. Now next we will use res.redirect to the login page. Okay, so just write login. So once we are logged out, then we will be redirected to the login page. So let's try. Now if I reload, then of course we have restarted the server, that's why the session data removed and we are logged out automatically. But now let's try to log in again. Now you can see we are on user profile page. If I try to access login page, then we can't, because we are authenticated. But in order to access login and registration page, we have to log out. So let me click on logout button, then we can see we are redirected to this login page. Now we can access register page, login page, forgot password, because these are guest routes and we can access. But once we are logged out, and if you want to access profile page from the URL, then we can't access, because profile is the protected route. Okay, we have to log in again in order to access this profile page. So all these are working. Now let's move on to this navbar. So in navbar you can see I am authenticated, and still this login link is visible. So once we are authenticated, then we will hide this login link, and here I will display a drop down menu, and I will display the username in the drop down menu, and in drop down item I will only keep one drop down item, that is logout for now. So let's start. So let me open this one and open this partials and go to header.ejs file. Now here you can see, let me close this terminal. So you can see there is a code, commented code. If I uncomment, then if I reload, then you can see there is a drop down, but this username is static. so we will make this dynamic. Okay, so before making it dynamic, first I will check a condition. First I will check a condition if user. Okay, because we are sending this user variable from this server.js file. Here you can see we are sending this user variable for the views. So whenever there is some session data available in the user, then we are assigning those data into this local user variable, and we can access this user into our views. Okay, all our views. Okay, so we can also access in the header.ejs file. So if user is available, okay, so in this case what we can do is we can just use this, and let me close first and paste this drop down nav item. Okay, now if I reload, then you can see we are authenticated, and only we can see this one. Let me remove this username, and here I will display the username dynamically. So use this and save, and if I reload, then you can see decode mania, this is the name of the username. Now this is now showing dynamically, but still this login link is visible because we are authenticated, so we have to hide this. Okay, so we can use else condition here, else, and let me close this one, and let me cut this login from here and paste here. So if user, it means if user is authenticated, then we will display this drop down menu, and if user is not authenticated, then we will display this login link. Now let's test. So you can see login link is now hidden and not displaying here because we are authenticated. Now let's try to log out. So if I log out, then you can see login link is now available or visible, but the drop down is not visible. Okay, let me log in again. So now you can see login is now removed, and this drop down is not now showing. Now let's make this logout link also working. If I click this, then nothing is happening, so we have to make this dynamic. Okay, so if I click in this profile link, then we are not going to profile page. Let me fix this. So this is the profile. Let me just write profile here, save, reload, and now if I click on this profile, then we are going to the profile page, user profile page. And let's make this logout drop down item working. So if I go to profile.ejs file, let's copy the form tag, same, and go to header.js file. Instead of this anchor tag, I will remove this anchor tag and I'll paste here. Instead of this button danger, I will write drop down item class. Now if I reload, then you can see there is still a nav drop down item, and if I click on this, then we are logged out and we are redirecting to the login page. Okay, now again if I try to log in, then we are accessing this profile page, and here we are displaying this drop down. Let me display one more nav item. So for that I will use the same, and inside this I will paste it. Instead of profile, I will write my posts, and here I will write my posts. Okay, if I save and reload, then you can see we are authenticated, and we can see this my post. Okay, now if I log out, then we can't see my post, only we can see which is profile, login, and home. Okay, and if I try to access profile, then we can't because we are not authenticated. But if I log in, then we can access profile page. Home page is public, so we can access without authenticating. Okay, but profile page we have to authenticate, and this my post is also protected route, and we will work on this later. Okay, for now you can see error cannot get my post because we have not defined this route, so we will work on this my post later. Now next what I will do is in navbar you can see we are on profile page, but still this home nav item is active. So how to make this nav item active link dynamic. Okay, so when we are on profile page, then this profile nav item should be active, and if we are on home page, then only this home nav item should be active. Okay, so to fix this issue, let me go to auth.js file, and from here you can see we are sending this title. For the title here just above you can see, but for the active link we can also send one more, that is active is equal to home. Similarly I will copy this same thing for the register page and paste here. Just change this home to register, and for forgot password page, actually I think in forgot password this is not required because we are not displaying any link in the navbar for the forgot password and reset password, but for the profile we are using. Okay, so here we can pass this active, and here I will change profile. Similarly this here is not required, in login also not required. Let's go to server.js file, and this is the home page route. Okay, so here I will paste and I will change this active to home. Okay, let me go to auth.js file and check. Okay, so this is login page, and here I have written home, so let me change to login. Now this is correct. Now let's go to header.ejs file. Now this is the home page, and here you can see active class is already applied. Okay, so let me remove this current and remove this active also. Here I will use EJS output tag, and here I will check active is equal to home. In this case I will apply active class, otherwise null. Okay, just copy the same thing and paste here. Now instead of this home I will write profile, and now I will work on this later. Now for login I will paste and just change this to login. So all done. Now let's test. So if I reload, then you can see we are in home page and this home nav item is active. Now if I try to go to profile page, then we are not authenticated, so it's redirected to the login page, and that's why this login nav item is active. Now if I try to login, then you can see, okay, so you can see we are redirected to the user profile page, and this profile nav item is active. Okay, if I go to home, then this home is active, profile is active. This my post is not working because we will work on this later, and if I log out, then you can see we are on login page and this login nav item is active. Okay, so all working. So that's it for this video. In next video I will show you how to work on user forgot password page, and also how to reset password. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, then hit on like button, and please subscribe my channel.